What is up, Battle Union fans, and welcome to the Union News number 5 with your two analysts, me, Schady,
and myself, Shroomraver. Hello, everybody.
And as you know, what Union News are. We just go over the things that happened, things that are gonna happen, as in fixtures, as well as some shit talking, if we have something. It's all depend, as well as trades and transfers and bench trades and all that juicy stuff.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of those bench trades, there is one that we did miss out on last week. There was a slightly late one that was agreed to on both sides. The LA Galaxy and Gabriel decided to bring Gudra off the bench for Espion. It was a bit of a late trade, which is why we missed out on it when we were recording. But that is one that happened. LA Galaxy were allowed to use Gudra in their Week 5 fixture, and we will see whether or not they did when we get onto that game.
Yes, indeed. So, moving on to the games that happened, Shroom is going to kick us off.
Yes, I am. The first game we had Anima and the Golden State Dragons taking on the Blastburn Rovers. The first game in charge of the Blastburn Rovers for Kyle, K2, and we were saying that this was going to be a bit of a baptism of fire for Kyle, but he kind of won 5-0.
Kind of.
He got his team building. He got it absolutely spot on. His predictions of Anima's team, 6 out of 6 for him there. And he just played a really good game. He made very good early game predictions. He had the right moves to the right mons, and he had walls that were fairly insurmountable to the sets that Anima had brought, really.
Yep.
Yeah. Prepare for Slowking. You know, we've seen it before. People underprepare for Slowking. And you know, it happened again. Slowking and indeed Hariyama. She was unprepared for Hariyama, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was massively unprepared for Yama. You know, because she has, I think, 4 or 5 psychic types. But it's Hariyama. You can bring Hariyama every game ever in the history of Pokemon. Well, unless you face a team that consists of 6 Mega Rayquazas, but that doesn't happen. Yeah, Hariyama is just a Pokemon you should always expect, at least be somewhat prepared for it. She had nothing for it, and therefore she lost to an incredibly well-playing Kyle. And
yeah,
and it was crazy. So first loss for Anima.
Yeah, that is her first loss. It was a bit unfortunate that she forgot to put the sash onto Bisharp.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it would have been tough to pull it back, but I think there was like a tiny chance, was there not, that if she had Sash with the right plays and the right predictions,
yeah,
she might have been able to pull it back.
She didn't make the plays that I personally would have made, as in bait to close combat with Bishop, sack the last remaining one to drop Hariyama's defense, and then just go for an Iron Head and SD on something else maybe, because of course Bullet Punch is a thing on the Yama, which means you can't just Iron Head after you took a close combat. Anyway, we're just getting way too deep into this. Pause, because this is not the power rankings, which are here on Thursday. Shameless plug.
But yeah, basically a very good start to the belated start to his season for Kyle.
And I think he's definitely a playoff contender.
Looking good.
Moving on, we have Bice Productions anti-Twin Leaf Tyrants taking on Freedomian and Dualchions in the closest of games with a 0-0 win for Bice. How does that happen? Well, let me explain it to you. We had a Feraligatr and Infernape left. Feraligatr having Life Orb Aqua Jet, and Infernape having Life Orb Mark Punch. Infernape, of course, being faster, went for the Mark Punch. Gator lived on a sliver of health, went for the Aqua Jet that knocked out Infernape, and died to its own Life Orb Recoil. Infernape went down first, meaning Bice won the game. Incredibly close. And this was very interesting game because none of them were prepared. They had a gentleman's agreement that they wouldn't prepare because none of them really had the time. So just grabbed 6 things out of their boxes and just went in, which is going to have an effect on power rankings, as in we're not going to talk about the preparation as much, more of the plays and stuff, because it's just how it went. So yeah, it was a very entertaining game to watch, and the closest thing I've ever seen probably. I mean, I had a 0-0 victory in the past, but it's such a rare occurrence, and it's crazy.
Yeah, very much so. But yeah, it was a very entertaining game, especially as you say, given the fact I think that probably did play into it. The fact that they weren't customizing their sets with moves and EVs and all this kind of stuff just allowed it to be that kind of close game. When you bring in these kind of more standard things, there's maybe less chance of one being able to just be like, oh, I've countered this completely, it's not a threat anymore.
Yeah.
Everything was as much of a legitimate threat as it could be.
Yeah,
I think.
Very offensive game because of that as well.
Yeah, very much so.
And Frito going on a bit of a losing streak, so they're getting good.
Yeah.
To intensify.
Yeah. I mean, he was 2-0 and is now 2-3.
Yep.
So he is, one might say, he is getting bad. But he's Frito. I have faith that he can turn this around.
So do I, but I can't say it because we're in a shit talking war.
Yeah. There it is. Speaking of games that ended in an interesting fashion, the third game, Sizz and the Somerset Scissors taking on Richie and the Liverpool FC. Now, this one was somewhat controversial. Did end in the 4-3 disconnection. Sizz was 4-3 up at the time, and the game disconnected. I'm not sure if we have confirmation on whose end that was.
I think it was none of them. They were still both online.
Was it just
really weird?
Just one of those things that happens? Yeah. Which was unfortunate because it was shaping up to be a really good game. I mean, for one thing, Sizz brought Okaberry counter Reggie still.
Tribute.
Which was beautifully circumvented by Richie turn 1. Going for trick, which was beautiful. I'd have liked to seen that come into play because he tricked the Okaberry onto his Rotom cut, I think, Rotom Mo. That would have been nice to see.
Beautiful.
But yeah, it was turning into a really good game. Sizz was looking good, but it was unlucky about the DC because you know it was still anybody's game at this point. Richie could well have pulled it back. There were a few things that people lost needlessly. I'm looking at Roserade and I'm looking at Rotom Mo. But yeah, it was a very, very promising looking game. Just a shame that it had to end in a disconnection. So there was no actual clear winner, but I think they either went off differential or HP averages left.
Yeah,
I
HP
forget.
percentage, something like that.
Right. Okay.
And you know, normally when there's a DC, you just replay it. But at this point, they were both like, we can't replay this. There was a lot of hacks. There was a lot of crazy plays and all kinds of stuff. So I decided let's just see what Frito says because he's the leader guy.
Yeah.
And he said just go with HP percentage, do what the game says, and be done with it. So unfortunate, but what can you do? You know, replaying would have been a really weird game. Like completely replaying, that just would take away so much. And
very much so.
Moving on, we have two of the top teams in the Whiskers versus the LA Galaxray. The LA Galaxray getting a 3-0 victory over Enzo. Are there? Wait, I'm gonna have to check if there are any trades because I am professional.
Wow.
We forgot some, by the way. Or you did because those were your games.
Really?
Yep.
Really? Are we sure?
Yeah, Richie switched in Jolteon for Rotom. That's one.
Yeah, but we're doing them next.
Oh, never mind then.
They're the week 6 fixtures. Come on, Schady, get it together, man.
Okay. You know, I wasn't here last week. I'm kind of out of the thing.
Yeah, Schady has been away in the process of getting good, and apparently he just hasn't done it.
I'm still not a good analyst.
He's lost all sort of cognition. He doesn't know what's going on anymore.
I'm all over the place. I'm sorry.
He is.
Moving on.
Get back to talking about your game, damn it.
Gabriel taking the 3-0 victory over Enzo and the Whiskers. This was a very interesting game. Both players very underprepared for certain threats. Gabriel had nothing really for the Mega Venusaur. I think his answer was supposed to be Heatran, which is not an answer to Mega Venusaur, especially if it's not the Magma Storm set. Because Earthquake is a thing, very much so. So he got lucky that Enzo brought a really stupid set for this matchup in Curse, Restalk, Petal Blizzard. It's a cool set, but not for this matchup. There's a Sap Super Gudra, and there's a Heatran, and a couple like Chesnaught, all these things that can just take that and potentially over the time of the 60 minutes of the game is stall it out. And he just brought the completely wrong set. He should have brought something with Earthquake. That's not a point. Enzo was also unprepared for the Heatran. So on both sides, kind of under preparation, which led to Gabriel winning the game anyway. Because, as Shroom put it, as we were talking about this game before, Enzo lost more than Gabriel won, which is a very nice way to put it.
Yeah, I think Gabe got a bit lucky in some of the things that happened in that game. It was a bit of a shame that we didn't get to see some of the sets that were on offer. We didn't get to see Chesnaught, which is unfortunate because I don't think we've seen it yet on the field this season. And also on Enzo's side, we didn't get to see that Lando T set. Sub Swords Dance Salakberry. Really nice. Looked like it could put in a lot of work. Unfortunately, went down quite early on. But yeah, the whole situation surrounding Heatran and Mega Venusaur, with a really good Mega Venusaur set, that'll go the other way every time. So yeah, I think that Gabe got a bit lucky with this one. But he'll take it in his stride. I think you take the wins however you can.
Yeah.
So moving on to the fifth game, the Kentucky Kecleons and Squirtacular taking on Eric, Ashanakai, and the Bristol City Fletchlings. And talking of getting wins anywhere you can, a win, ladies and gentlemen, for the Kentucky Kecleons.
Yeah,
it has happened. It has happened. Josh has gotten good, and he's got himself a win. I liked the way his team was put together. But then again, I also, Eric has been making a lot of trades, and he's got himself a Chansey Mega Ordino core, which of course is disgusting.
Yes. Very much so.
It's just a shame for him, really, that Josh has Nidoking, which wrecks that core entirely.
Yep.
I think Josh put together a very good team. He had good EVs, as ever. He's really coming together with these EVs. I liked his defensive Megazord X idea. He was bringing a sort of burning trapping one.
Fire Spin.
So Fire Spin, Willow, and Roost. It was a really nice idea. Unfortunately, he tried to use it against a Mega Ordino, and that's not the way to do it. That's not the way to do it at all.
Not really.
Mega Ordino can stall out that any day of the week. So once again, Megazord X unable to really shine, but the idea was fantastic. Yeah, and for the team building that Josh did, that was very good. I wasn't entirely certain about Eric's team building. He had no special defense investment on anything to go against a team that involved Raikou, Nidoking, Shaymin, and P2.
Yeah, that's true.
And natural special bulk can only get you so far. Especially when he had that Nidoking, which just destroys the defensive core that he had. Has amazing coverage to deal with so many of the things on his team. I think he really could have utilised a special defensive wall, better. But as it was, it really came down to NASCAR Bug, whose name I keep forgetting. That's the one. Which came in clutch at the end.
Beautiful.
I like the fact that
Ice for the
HP Ice Scolipede. He was running fully offensive, 4 attacking moves. Always nice to see a Scolipede not going for Baton Pass.
Yep.
Really cool. Yeah.
Eric's team building was very, very standard. Everything was pretty much a standard set, if I recall correctly, which kind of bothered me, which kind of came back to bite him in the ass to some extent. He lost against Josh, which is not a shame because Josh has been playing well, and he got his first win. So hooray! We called it. We said he was going to win at some point.
Yeah, we did say that it was coming, and it finally has. My last thing on Eric is if you're bringing Talonflame against a team that has 4 Stealth Rockers, bring Hazard Removal.
Yeah, please.
You have to bring Hazard Removal. Talonflame was his way of dealing with Scolipede, and it went down too early for my liking.
Yeah.
So that would have been important for him, but yeah, Josh managing to take the win, which will be nice for him on a personal level, I'm sure. Get his season off the ground at last.
Yes, and with that we move on to the last game, which was the Highlandtown Dooms and their interim manager Ethan, aka Rathamus, taking on Xena and the Slovenian Arcanines, and the Slovenian Arcanines getting a 2-0 victory over the Highlandtown Dooms. This was a very interesting game. I knew of Ethan's team building because he's a good friend of mine and stuff. He told me what he was bringing. The Baton Pass Mr. Mime with Nasty Plot was a really good idea. because that allowed Mega Scepter to just plow through Xenon's team. But Xenon answered that with a lot of really cool sets, as in the Scarfed Special Arcanine with Overheat to stop the Superior, which he not too long ago realized is an absolute beast. And then we had the Mega Scissor, which was supposed to deal with defensive Rotom, which, you know, Ethan didn't bring, but still, it was there to deal with it. Could outspeed it, could take a Volt Switch with a sub up. You know, how often do you see a subbing Mega Scissor? Bug Bite for potential Resto Chesto set. All that juicy stuff, really like that. Resto Chesto Dragonite to take on defensive Rotom. There was just so much stuff going on. Ethan could not cope with it. He could not deal with it. So many sets that he wasn't even thinking about, and that just cost him. And the crucial point was when I think Electros paralyzed the Sceptile that was not Mega yet on the Baton Pass, because that meant
that was
Sceptile was
huge.
pretty much useless at that point. Because a slow Mega Sceptile is a bad Mega Sceptile.
If he'd got that nasty plot into Mega Sceptile +2 special attack, that's gonna wreck shop.
I think Scissor was still alive. Was it? I'm not sure.
I think it may well have been.
Because if Scissor and Arcanine was still alive, because he would not have gotten swept. Xenon that is. But still, it would have done a lot of damage, and it would have been really scary. I would have put Ethan in a lot better position.
So as we said about Xenon, you know, he got off to a really rough start to the season, but now he's looking pretty good. 3 wins on the bounce for him, and he's moving up his rankings fairly rapidly.
Yes, indeed.
So, with that, those are the Week 5 fixtures that have been and gone. So, we're going to take a look ahead to the Week 6 fixtures. And at the top, we have, well, a huge clash. Anima and the Golden State Dragons versus Xenon and the Slovenian Arcanines. Dragons are at 4-1, Arcanines 3-2, and we should mention a bench trade has happened.
Now we do the trades.
Anima, now we do the trades. This is where we do them, as for those of you who don't know, so obviously that includes Schady. Anima has brought in Heliolisk off the bench, her mascot, her channel mascot, one of her favourite mons. Heliolisk off the bench in for Reuniclus. That is going to be a fantastic battle to watch, is it not, Schady?
Heliolisk is a massive threat. Xenon's team doesn't have too much. I mean, he has things that can take it on, but his only electric immunity, if I recall correctly, is Gastro and Piloswine, but Piloswine doesn't count.
And Piloswine.
Piloswine is not good, as Shroom has.
Piloswine is. I want to be a fan of Piloswine. I truly do, but
it's not good.
But I'm not.
So Heliolisk is a really good Pokemon. I'm looking forward to that game in general, because Xenon has been in an up. Anima took her first loss and was a pretty big one. She's definitely looking to come back from that better than ever.
Yeah.
Which would be really good.
Absolutely.
Moving on, we have Richie and the Live Rumple FC against Ethan still and the Highlandtown. This is also a match I'm personally looking forward to because they're 2 of my best friends. Richie still hasn't really found his way into the league. He doesn't, his team doesn't fit him apparently. That's what it seems like. He also had a bit of bad luck, with the DC and all kinds of other stuff. And Ethan wants to get a win. He doesn't want to go out. I think this is his last game as a coach of the Highlandtown.
Yeah.
So he wants to get at least 1 win. Definitely looking forward to that. And we have a bench trade and not a trade.
Just a bench trade, I think.
Yeah.
No, there's. Yeah.
Richie switched in Jolteon for Rotom, giving him another electric immunity and a speedy thing that can, if it's scarfed, outspeed something like Mega Sceptile. So on Rotom, but he opted to pick up the Jolteon, which was his first bench switch, by the way, which is interesting. And Ethan made a huge transfer, getting Blastoise from Josh and the Kentucky Kecleons for Galvantula. I personally don't think Galvantula is a good Pokemon. I think Josh has definitely got the worst end of the trade here. Or the worst, not worst. And a reliable hazard removal like Blastoise and bulky water at that is really helpful for the Highlandtown. And I think Jedi is going to have some fun with that as well. I want to see the Sub Punch Blastoise. Jedi, make it happen.
Yeah, it does of course give him another one of those hazard removal options. Always nice to have a rapid spinner, and Blastoise really does give him that option.
A really good one at that.
Very reliable user of it. The third game that we've got coming up, Freedomion and the Welshons, sitting at 2 and 3 right now. They're going to be taking on the LA Galuxray and Gabe, our current leaders of the table. And we should say that a trade has happened here. The Welshons trading Crawdaunt away and gaining from Ashen Akai, I believe it is. They have gained Garchomp.
Jesus Christ.
So, I'll, do you know what? I'm going to let Schady take this one. What do we think of that
calm
trade?
the fuck down with your team. First up. Second, Mamoswine. You're going to have a lot of fun with dealing with that thing. Mamoswine also already kind of ran through his team before. Kron was a good check, because adaptability Aqua Jet. Or just, I guess he can run Scarf if he really wants to. And now he just gets bopped by Mamoswine, and it's gonna be fun how he takes that on if he plays, or when he plays Kyle and the Blastburn Rovers. Overall, back to the game. This is gonna be interesting. Frito is still trying to get good again. Well, get good in general, and Gaelic has been on a bit of a roll in general. And this is a top table match for me personally, even though Frito's kind of getting low, kind of dropping down. But still, this is a really fun match I'm looking forward to a lot.
Very much so. And fourth up, we are going to have Sizz and the Somerset Sizzles, sitting at 3 and 2 right now. Going to be taking on Josh Squirtacular and the Kentucky Kecleons. The Kecleons, incidentally, as we know, with that trade, getting Galvantula in, and Galvantula has been brought straight into the first team lineup. Shaman has been benched. This is going to be a fantastic game for me. I'm really looking forward to this. You know, Josh has finally got his first win, and you know he's going to be really looking to carry that momentum into the game against Sizz, who has you know, come back and got that win.
Also his first own win.
Yeah, his own first one, but not a win per se. You know, it was a disconnection win. He got the points, but he'll be looking to prove that he can do it, you know, off his own back and still get that genuine take out everyone on the opposite team win. That's what I think Sizz will be looking for here, and I think both are going to really want this. This is a very important game for both of them. If Josh wants any chance of going further on in this competition, he's going to need to get this win, and Sizz, as we say, is going to be looking for that win very hard indeed.
Indeed. And with that, we move on to Kyle and the Blastburn Rovers taking on Ashton Akai and the Bristol City Fletchlings. As we said, Eric brought in Crawdaunt for Garchomp, which is interesting. Crawdaunt is a good Pokemon, but Garchomp is just a better Pokemon in my opinion. But Crawdaunt is a threat, and I think Kyle's very much aware of that. Kyle, after his first game and his first very impressive win over Anima, is definitely looking to get more wins and to get into the playoffs, because he still has a shot at those with 2 wins and 3 losses. While Eric also still has a shot at him. I think he's also 2 and 3. Yes. Yeah. So this is a very interesting match because they're both at the same point in the table. Kyle, in my opinion, is one of the best players I've ever seen in this format so far. So Eric has a challenge in front of him. That's pretty much that. But Eric also has brought some really interesting sets so far to the season. You know, the Sorcerer Aggron 2.0. and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I want to see some cool sets on both sides.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
There's that. Yeah. Moving on.
To the final game. It's We've messed up our order here. Usually we go 1 then 1 then 1, but I did the first one and now I'm doing the last one, and I'm not sure how we've done that.
So we fucked up something.
How has that happened?
I think I did 2 and 3 because I'm bad.
We couldn't have done that if we tried to do that.
We did
if
something.
If we organised it that way, it would have gone wrong. We've done something wrong, ladies and gents, but we are going to roll with it into the final game of Week 6, which is going to be Bison the Twin Leaf Tyrants. They're going to be taking on Enzo and the Swiskers. You know, Bice sitting at that big 4 and 1. Enzo and the Swiskers at 3 and 2. And Bice, as Schady weeps gently in the corner because Clefable has been benched, and Bice has brought in the ever-powerful Conkelder to bring, because, you know, he didn't have enough physical threats on his team, it would seem. with Feraligatr, Tyrantrum, and Weavile. And Aegislash if he wants to go physical with that. So, you know, always nice to have even more physical power on that team going up against the Swiskers. How do we think that's going to affect things?
As we saw in the GBA playoffs, if you have not seen them yet, then spoilers, I guess. You're too late. Conkeldurr can potentially do a lot of damage to Mega Venusaur with a Facade, a Guts boosted Facade. Very much inspired probably by the Hariyama that did it in the GBA before. So if he wants to bring Conkeldurr and beat Mega Venusaur with it, he can potentially do it. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Conk is just a good Pokemon. Clefable is the best Pokemon in the world, one of the best Pokemon. So
yeah, I mean Conk has the coverage to do enormous damage to a lot of Enzo's team.
Chansey's gone, but still.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what set he brings. I'm looking at potential bulk up Guts because Suicune is a thing on Enzo's team.
Oh yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what kind of set he brings to that game.
That's definitely very much a good option.
Those indeed are the Week 6 fixtures. So finally, what we like to do at this point is just take a look at what the coaches are saying about and to each other. A few things to pick up on here. Josh and Squirtacular, not so much saying anything about other managers, but more a statement, a promise, if you will. And I quote, "I will make Zardex work at least once, I promise."
I mean,
do we think he will?
I'm gonna make a bold prediction and say yes. He's gonna make it work.
There it is. Twice. Well, the gauntlet has been thrown down.
Josh, if you don't do that, you lose your job as a coach. Yeah, because I can do that.
Yeah, because Schady apparently has that power. He is trying to take over.
One man should have all that power.
As Kanye himself said.
As the album said back in the day.
This is true. Speaking of Schady, he's very briefly also thrown down a gauntlet to Sizz, saying that Sizz battling better drunk, quote, shouldn't be hard.
I don't even remember that.
You meanie. You can't even remember it. It doesn't even mean anything to you.
Yeah, okay, no,
I mean,
yeah, I did that.
Sizz, there it is. There is the challenge. There it is. Not even bad. So that's just a little bit of news there. But the main story that we are going to be running with today.
Nowadays.
Yeah, Shady's really involving himself.
That's the best.
I'm just here to report on it. My job is just to report. I am Switzerland.
Yeah, and I'm the
I am neutral. Yes, that is true. We affectionately call him that, not so affectionately. But anyway, the main story of this final section revolves around, well, mainly Xenon and Jedi. An interesting little battle going on there, talking about Dragonite and, of course, the ever-present Mr. Mime. They were talking about trades and seeing what kind of rank everything is, because as you know, that was how things were drafted. Things were done based on a ranking system. And, came out that Dragonite is S rank. Jedi decided that S in that stood for sucks. Xenon's instant response was that Dragonite does not like that message, and he is a mailman. To which Jedi said, "Tell him to return to sender," which I quite enjoyed. It kind of broke off there, but then it came back. Jedi was sad that he missed out on his battle against Xenon, and at the chance to go for the Mime Slap, the Mr. Mime Double Slap combination. Xenon just said, "Well, what Mr. Mime really needs is a kill." To which Jedi said, "He's got 2, which is 2 more than Dragonite has." Which, to be fair, is true.
Mr. Mime confirmed to be better than Dragonite. There it is.
Yeah, confirmed.
Also super effective stab, and it's immune to Outrage, so confirmed better.
Yeah, because Dragonite doesn't get Iron Head at all.
Nope, that's a lie. It's also not that Mr. Mime dies to tackle.
Yeah, pretty much. And we thought that was the end of that.
Even though it's immune to it.
Yeah, he might well do. The only fairy to do so. We thought that was the end of that little section, but no. Frito brought it back, saying that Mr. Mime isn't going to get 6 KOs in the season. That was his prediction. I think that amounts to the amount of games that Mr. Mime can have. You're looking at that sort of 1 KO per game. Xenon then said that he might actually trade for it because it could be good at sweeping his room. Jedi was only able to say that the season isn't over yet, so we have to watch out to see exactly what he's going to do with Mr. Mime. We only time will tell as to whether Mr. Mime will become a genuine threat, whether it will only have a job cleaning Xenon's room.
I mean, Gabriel offered to just let Mr. Mime sweep his entire team, so it gets 6 kills. Sex kills.
Yes, that is true.
Kills. There it is.
Was that a cheeky little thing from Gabe there as a premeditated excuse if in fact he does get swept by Mr. Mime? Is Gabriel actually secretly terrified of Mr. Mime?
There it is.
Put it down in the comment section. Down in the comment section below, if you think that Gabriel is in fact running scared of Mr. Mime. Let us know what you think. And indeed, let us know what you think of those upcoming games. Let us know in the comments who you think is going to be winning in those Week 6 fixtures, and how you think this week's games have affected things as a whole. But yeah, I think that is actually going to wrap things up from us this week. So thank you very much, TBU fans, for joining us. We do hope that you have enjoyed. And yeah, leave your thoughts down in the comments to all those things, to the shit talking and the games that have gone and the games that are to come. So yeah, as we say, that's going to wrap things up. Shady, any last things to add before we take off?
Frito still didn't get good. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching.
There it is. That is all Shady has to add. So yeah, Shady throwing down gauntlets left, right, and centre to anyone and everyone. They basically tend to amount to the same thing, which is get good. So yeah, that is basically the theme of Shady as a person.
Yep.
But yeah, that is going to finish things off on that getting good note. Thank you once again for joining us, and we will be back on Thursday with our power rankings for the week. So until then, take care, TBU fans. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.